Welcome back to the Tales of New Dunhaven. It's been a little while. This week, the Obsidian Coin crew is playing again with Xencarn. That's your cue to sound off there. Avis.
Off to a good start.
Avis. Digo? I never know which one to do.
I'll take it either way.
You're also a little quiet, Digo.
Oh, am I?
Yeah,
How about now?
a little better. And Smarty.
Hello.
Love us.
We are the best.
And previously, in New Dunhaven, the crew kidnapped a reclusive, high-profile stage actor for the mummers to use as ransom. The actor had been using a tunnel beneath the Regent's Theater to slip away after performances, aided by two members of his former criminal group. On the side, the crew made an ally of Beatrice, a Vesper poisoner who was working a con at the theater as well. Many of our crews have been laying low for a few weeks after their flurry of activity, but now Obsidian Coin has decided to take on another leverage job. So
We did.
this week, you've been given a set of instructions to actually go to a City Watch prison. And you've been given instructions for a sort of secret entrance and staircase to follow, so you can get by without attracting attention from the city watchmen who are there on site. And the directions lead you to in front of one of the very sparse holding cells. Though it's been a while, and I think someone's playing a new character today, so we might as well reintroduce ourselves, I think. Starting with Xencarn, who is not playing the Hugh twins.
Because I like making new characters, I guess. Do you want the whole character sheet or just a name?
I don't know, just name and description.
Name and description? Cool. Bashir. So I am playing Rebecca Lynn, sort of 40-year-old Taiwanese lady. Man, I have some really great pictures, so I really didn't work out a verbal way of doing this. So you're looking at sort of a lady who's very tall, lithe, very sort of floaty, I guess, clothing, dressed for work, so she's currently wearing a sort of,
Maid outfit.
How do I put this?
Maid outfit is how you put this.
Very Japanese, Japanese anime maid outfit. Thanks, Smarty.
Yep, that's where we're coming from with this character concept.
That's where we're going.
I blame everyone else, by the way. This
I
was
love
legitimately everyone else's fault.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
no, we take everyone except Digo. We take full responsibility.
Thank you.
A frilly, formal Japanese maid.
Yep,
It's gonna be great.
That is Rebecca Lynn. And
I am playing the group mom.
naturally a Red Lotus cleaner.
Yes.
Oh boy.
The subscriptions are coming right in.
Oh yes. Damn it! If I get a boost from just that alone, just that
If
description
we get a
alone.
boost from that alone, we know what we need to do. We need to have a whole episode of just maids.
Clearly, we
To
just
get a
played
boost from that alone, I want to get paid.
just drop this campaign and play the maid RPG. No, thanks. So, Rebecca arrives at prison cell where Diana's waiting, and the rest of you can come in and react. You've all been sort of forewarned in advance that the Hugh twins will not be attending, and you've agreed to let someone else they know join your crew in their stead. So, they're going off reputation there.
Yay.
Because we clearly trust them.
Yes.
Especially after the murder.
Mm.
They're having a timeout.
Having a timeout. They've been put in the corner.
Separate quarters, and not the nice quarters either.
Anyway, So do you all just arrive, or do you want to describe your arrival?
It just arrived.
Yeah, Trix can't really do her big flamboyant entrance into prison.
If anything,
She's gonna
Katya just
impress
seems
the
more at
inmates.
home in prison.
All right. So you're in the basement of the City Watch, one of the City Watch offices or stations, guard stations, and there's Diane, who's sort of sitting on a bench in front of one of the holding cells, and it is a very sort of I don't know what's the word I want to use, sort of scraggly, darker skinned man, just sort of sitting dejectedly inside the cell. Not terribly clean clothes, big bushy beard. And Diane says, "This is Ivan Koslova, and this is your client today. Ivan, why don't you tell them your story?" And he looks up at the bunch of you, and he's like most of the leverage clients you've had so far is rather skeptical, because you all look various flavors of
Crazy.
little bit.
Wow.
You've got a very formal town in family member of the mob, woman who couldn't be signaling assassin harder if she was screaming it.
Just has a fucking label on her front that says, "Hello, my name is Assassin."
Wow.
and of course the stage magician. And he seems especially wary of Katya, but he shuffles forward on his cot and says,
Racism.
okay. He says, there was... He finds it... He starts to try to speak and fumbles, and Diane finally speaks up and says, Yvonne here is in trouble because he assaulted a rather well-known entrepreneur. And Yvonne says, he is no businessman. Back in the Motherland, he was an officer of the imperial regime. He's changed his name and everything, but I recognize his eyes and that smug sneer of his. Diane sighs and says, Yvonne here attacked Mr. Alex Spencer, and they're throwing the book at him. Alex's lawyers are throwing the book at him. I've done a little digging on my own, and Alex Spencer is actually one Alexei Stepanov, who, in the after the fall of the Vladov Empire, made his way over here to Dunhaven and changed his name and used his ill-gotten riches from the regime to sort of buy his way as close to nobility as you can get without actually having, a long heritage in this town. So he's mostly known as an entrepreneur. Lots of investments, but a little involved in politics as well. And yeah, I suppose that about sums up his public life. No family in the picture. Keeps mostly to himself.
A well-rounded businessman, I see.
Mm-hmm.
So, just one afternoon, Yvonne here was strolling through the shops and then recognized Mr. Alexei and started ranting and attacked him and hit him. And now is being charged with assault, and they're trying to push murder as well.
But he is not dead.
No, of course not. And Yvonne looks up with, sort of darkened eyes and says, I watched that man come to our town, and on the king's orders, he seized homes and property of just neighbors, imprisoned the rest, and he personally profited from all the assets they seized from us, from just normal people. I spent 8 years in a labor camp before the Empire fell, and then got here on a boat full of sick and dead refugees, and then spent a few years in the castle just for showing up. And I thought at the very least I could put that all behind me, but then I saw that man again, and I could not. I've messed up.
That you did.
He looks at Diane rather urgently. He says, the documents, the letters, surely they must, the truth. And Diane says, yeah, they'll help. I think that about sums it up. So we shall discuss, and I promise we will get you out of here. And Yvonne mutters, I want him to... And Diane says, what do you want? And Yvonne says, I just want him to suffer some of the pain he inflicted on me, my family, my friends, my neighbors. I don't want him dead, but I want him to face some consequence. I want him to face justice. I want the world to be a more just place. And Diane nods and says, I can understand that. Bids him adieu and leads you all into a sort of interrogation room that she plans on using as a planning room. It says, well, what do you think?
He seems over his head.
Oh, certainly.
That is an understatement.
I personally find it rather fascinating because we don't really have a lot of details about the fall of the Vladov Empire. So, I mean, one can assume that the regime did something to, something in the regime went rotten. The imperial leadership did something naughty, but apparently they were, apparently this man, this Alexei Stepanov, now Alex Spencer, had a hand in that. And, corrupt regimes, they kind of get run like the mob. Not a whole lot of accountability at the top, but then you've got, as you go handshake to handshake, there's more and more, direct responsibility. So she reaches into her coat and spreads out a series of letters between either Yvonne or other people, and says he's got some proof of this, and I've independently confirmed it myself, but not in a way that would be effective in a court of law. And unfortunately, Alec is both legally and illegally protected. And if we were just to present this by itself in Yvonne's defense, then, well, I'm afraid his lawyer could just easily fight it off. Not like anyone's going to prosecute things that happened in another nation over 20 years ago. So, chances of directly proving that Alec is responsible for his crimes, practically nil, though you might be more successful than I am in finding some hard proof. But the thing about expats who change identities, they don't tend to keep a lot of really hard proof mementos, especially not, reclusive, paranoid ones. You might be able to find something, though. I haven't exactly stormed his estate myself. But if you have 2.5 days, and the goal here is to make sure Yvonne doesn't go back to the castle for assault or anything like that. So if I might make a few suggestions, you've got a few options to make that happen. You could frame Alec for a crime. You could turn other nobles or merchants against him, other powerful people in the city. That's always a pretty surefire way to make sure that one of the rich and powerful stays down in this town, is to turn others against him. Is rather devout in the Church of the Silver Judge, so heresy might be a good option. Or, actually try to find hard proof that Alex Spencer is not the man he says he is. But I'm not sure how far that would get you if you're trying to do this legitimately. Now, I'd say the goal is fairly open-ended. Just make sure that Alexei ends up, tarnished or imprisoned, and that Yvonne goes free. Not, don't kill him, but I don't know. I'd say that is the open-ended goal for you.
Don't kill him, but make sure he doesn't get off scot-free.
Yes.
All right.
Hmm.
Any questions?
Is
Where does
he
he-
in contact with the Circle?
No, he's actually... I have reason to believe that the Circle's approached him for various things or another, but seems to have kept his distance from the Circle cartel. So don't worry about him being protected or any conflict of interest here. I've checked. The Circle doesn't really care what happens to him.
Good.
Otherwise, I might not have been able to put together this op anyway. So
Well, it would have made it easier, or it could have made it much harder. But they're not, so that throws that out the window.
They may tell you more than they told me. That may be an option to investigate to see if they have they've had past dealings or even past dealings gone wrong. The Vladovich people tend to stick together for better or worse.
That we do.
Any other questions?
Where does he live right now?
He has a fairly extensive house in a merchant district. And he works out of there. It's his office and his home. Mostly managing his investments.
Not everyone all at once.
I know, right?
I asked the question I needed.
I'm good.
I'm contemplating.
All right, then. Well, I will leave you to it, then. 2.5 days. And you've got a fairly open-ended goal ahead of you, so... I guess I would suggest, starting with your legwork and seeing what pops up. But, also having a couple of ideas ready. And Diane leaves the relevant information and documents with you and heads out of the interrogation room, leaving you to your own devices.
So,
All right.
Before we get started with planning, does anyone have
Main kind of missions.
anyone have a reaction to the new party member?
it's like, as soon as she was just like, so, here we go.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't. I really don't.
Trix, you of all people should know who I am.
She's
Considering
making
I'm-
it up like she doesn't.
Miss Rebecca Lynn is my name. I'm a cleaner. I was... how should I put this? Given the general scope of this crew by the Hugh twins, I believe you know them, they said you might need a cleaner to help you out. But
So
I believe this isn't the best place to discuss this. Shall we retire for tea?
You've been given assurances that this room is secure, and you won't be interrupted for as long as you need it.
Yes.
But
No
tea.
I'm
No
good
tea.
with tea.
All right, you can go elsewhere for tea.
It's like,
Sweet,
this
alright.
room is properly secure.
Oh
Alright.
my gosh. Just pull tea out of your stupid dress.
Can I do that?
No! Not encouraging you.
It's too late.
No.
Well, yeah,
Anyway.
because I own a tea shop, so we can go there.
That's also secure.
You know what? The idea I just had. You could have bribed one of the city watchmen to bring tea to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 100% yes.
Please.
Shall we retire for tea? They just come in with a tea tray.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly what happens.
Stand there, just completely blank face. Just, why?
Just keeping their head down, not really making eye contact with any of you, just brings in the tray, sets it on the table, and walks out.
Cool.
Shaking my head. Shaking my
Rebecca will
head.
pour everybody tea.
Awesome.
Now then, dears, what was your plan for this particular job? The Q twins didn't give me much information on your method of operations, I guess.
Well, in
Wow.
theory, we could frame him for anything while also exposing him for who he actually is.
I mean, I'm all for the heresy room. Like, there's nothing more heretical to these upper class, blue collar, whatever. But magic!
That's if you don't mess up.
Girl.
If there's one thing rich people really value, is their reputation. So we attack that, we attack him.
I mean, we could just go for our usual in of, I'm going to start a magic show. Because how many times have we done that, and how many times has it worked?
Surprisingly more than it should.
Right?
Noted.
Exactly.
Are you sure that's what you want to do, dear?
Not particularly.
I mean, the others might not be, but yes, that's what I do. I do the magic.
All right,
Actual
so
magic.
In all seriousness, I'm going to start the 15-minute timer now.
Shit.
Yeah, fun.
Who's going to do what?
Well, he lives in the merchant districts. That should be a really easy one for me to go wander about and get some info on him.
I can always just in general stake out the place as usual. That always tends to help in the long run. Can also talk to the circle about their dealings, if any, with him. See if I can find out anything about him in those regards.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can find out where he lives.
Well, we know where he lives.
Okay, you do the scopy outy thing, Nan, where you, I don't know what it is you do, sit in the bush and watch people.
I don't always do that.
You're saying it's not always that you sit in the bush, but you do sit in the bush and watch people.
Are you sure?
Just shaking my head. Just shaking my head.
And
Yes, Miss Lynn. My name is Alfons, and I'll be playing the sane one this time. All right,
yes,
so
let us introduce you to the common sense of this party. He will be sitting here shaking his head while we come up with our plans.
all right, so Katya scoping out his place. I go look for some rumors, dig some dirt on him in the merchant district. What else we got?
Tricks?
Well,
Come now, girls. Sit up straight and articulate.
I think in general, this first bout should just mostly be information gathering because we know very little about him. And if we want to do anything to him to make him suffer, we need to know more about him.
yes, that.
And so...
I already put down what I'm doing.
I'm thinking.
You're an entertainer, girl. Go along that lines. We need information. What would you do?
Entertain?
Yes.
The people he's in with, I guess.
Very good.
So, yes, that.
Okay.
And what about you?
I shall tag along with Trix, I think. Keep an eye on her.
Are you just assuming you're not going to be leading a legwork scene?
Yeah,
I think that's just an assumption fully.
Yeah, I really don't have a plan. Plus, it better suits my power set to not lead legwork scenes, weirdly enough.
I think it, at the very least, like, as a backup, if no one generates a ton of heat and you feel like you can get away with it, maybe have, like, just, a backup plan.
Yeah, the other problem is I'm conspicuous everywhere he, is.
Join the club.
Yeah, I know,
You're just
right?
conspicuous everywhere.
I am conspicuous everywhere.
I really, really do not have a plan.
Cleaning service.
Are you sure you're conspicuous in the merchant district?
Yep. Conspicuous in merchant and noble districts and in the slums.
Oh. Welcome to the club.
Would that be crazy?
Yes, but say it anyway.
Probably. He's a big sort of important semi-noble, right?
Yeah, as close to noble as you can get.
So he'd have a lot of sort of influence, money.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, for my legwork scene, I would like to invite him as a publicity stunt, almost, to dine at my establishment.
Your establishment.
Yes.
High
The High Tea
shop.
Palace.
Is it? Do you think he'll accept?
Possibly not, but if he does,
I think just probably, making sure he accepts the invitation would be legwork in itself.
Yeah, alright. I'll do that then. Problem solved.
And when would you schedule this thing?
We've got, what?
2.5 days?
2.5 days. I think at dinner. Let him invite who he wants. I, of course, as the patron, will be serving him personally. And I would, of course, be doing this because I know he's in a position of power, a position of authority, and I'd like to establish business relations with an entrepreneur of his caliber.
Okay. See how that
And
plays
also,
out.
it gives me a chance to eavesdrop on him. So, there's that.
Mm-hmm. 7.5 minutes.
Hey, Trix, you want to advertise?
I always advertise. What do you take me for?
Is there a possibility that any of the people who are doing like information gathering with people, I can just give them an in with the circle to include that?
Give them an in with the circle?
Just because I'm in the circle, like, so they can talk to them as well and get information about him from them.
Yeah, that would probably cost you an influence.
I can use my influence!
You could use your own influence.
I can use my own influence! This is amazing!
Achievement unlocked.
It beats giving it away.
But I did so much with it.
I know you did. It actually saved your butt.
No, it was great.
Alright, so that's...
So who wants it?
I think, Dago, you were going after rumors and stuff, weren't you?
Yeah. Talk to
Okay.
merchants. Get around.
Probably you then.
So then use the influence to help Daigo out with getting information from the circle about Alexei.
Alright. I think that just leaves what Trixanna's doing.
Hosting an entertainment for people to do something. I've already forgotten. Sorry, I'm doing like 6 things at once right now.
You could do a singing telegram to send the invite to him for the tea house. Oh.
I do magic.
Magic
If you want-
telegram.
There you go.
I could do that.
Gets arrested for heresy.
Gets arrested for heresy. No, that's... Hopefully that's not until later. Well, hopefully that's not at all, but
I'll come visit.
I mean, you've got more skills than just use sorcery. You've got distract someone, goad someone, lie to
I
someone.
know, but that's the most fun one.
Save it for later. Save it for our escape when this blows up in our face, as usual.
I'll see that until later.
Spread false rumors?
You could just try and
could
do
do
that
that.
and see if there's any reaction. Like an assortment of different types of rumors.
Actually, I have an idea now. If you can get like information for anyone he's like anyone sort of famousy that he's buddy with, I can try and get the false rumors out that they're going to the tea shop as well. So then it can be like, yeah, I'll go there then. I'll take up that invitation to try and rub elbows with someone he can get influence with, but they're not actually going to be there.
So try and convince a second person of importance to attend the tea shop dinner.
Just sort of, well, they don't actually have to be there, but make it out like they're going there.
When he just double check.
So because try and find someone that our guy wants to rub elbows with, and then make it out like he's said at some point that he's going there. So our guy would be like, he's going there. I have an invitation.
Maybe not even he's going. Maybe just make it he's like they've been, or they're a regular, so there's a chance they might be there.
That works.
Interesting. I ask again,
Just
like
try and
when
get
are
it
you
so
when are
you'll
you
be like,
scheduling this?
there's someone I want to have a chat with. I have an invitation. Let's do lunch.
Well, let's do lunch or a dinner.
And then it
Probably
turns
a
out they're
probably
not
a
actually
dinner.
there, but, you know,
Probably a dinner
work
and
as well
probably
while I'm here.
tonight.
So
So
we
if he does
we
actually
use the
go,
morning
then-
for information. You use the evening to do this information gathering.
If
Yeah.
he does actually go, then all the better, but...
The evening's probably going to end up being like a drama scene then with everybody.
That's okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. 2 minutes remaining.
I mean, if I can convince said person to go, all the better. But, you know, the general idea is that it's implied that someone goes that he wants to rub elbows with.
Hmm.
Though I'll need to find out someone that he wants to rub elbows with first.
Well, that's what Dago and
Yeah.
Ava's doing, really. So they'll do their bit, come tell us, we'll go do our bit.
I feel like Smarties would more be like that afternoon period. Is what this starts to seem like, the two of us doing this in the morning, going in the afternoon, and then you're teething at night. Which doesn't really work.
It's a very fast moving con, whatever this con is.
It's a great con, don't question it. I'm not.
Speed.
Because if
Speed
I question
con.
it, I think about it, and if I think about it, it all goes to hell.
It's gonna go to hell
Speedy
anyway. It always does.
Mhm.
All my plans are great. It's everyone else that pushes them up.
Excuse.
30 seconds. Any last details you want to solidify?
Kittens are adorable.
So it's going to...
I'm gonna say no.
No, probably not now.
Alchemical kittens.
Avis, Digo...
Oh my god, alchemical kittens!
No!
Alchemy-
Stop the timer, let's go!
All right.
Let's stop
So,
this.
who wants to start? Either Digo with information gathering or Avis with stakeout. Morning stakeout.
Do you want to go? I usually go first. So if you want to go first, that's totally fine.
It's fine. Whatever you want. I'm flexible with either.
Get down the list.
Fine, I'll go first. Again.
Why break tradition?
Okay, then I'll go.
All right, describe how your legwork scene goes.
So I want to basically first find the place for myself, see basically what it's like, what the general busyness is around it. Generally, like, are people coming in a lot? Are they going inside, or are they just staying at the door? Does he leave constantly, etc., etc.? Scope out any entrances, any possible like areas that could lead to not a waste of my complete time. See if I recognize anyone who's coming in. We're looking at another. Katya's gonna sit in a location for like 5
Katya's
hours.
gonna sit in the bush and watch people.
All right, I'm going to say, you're conspicuous in merchant districts, right?
Yes, I am. I'm conspicuous basically everywhere.
Oh yeah, also at the start of this segment, 4 heat on the stack. Ka-ching. And then...
Every time you say "and then," I get nervous.
So, Alexei's house is kind of close to the main street of this particular merchant district. So I'm going to say case the joint with 2 challenge dice, because whatever hiding spot you have to find for your casing to do most of your observation, it's going to be in a rather public place, and you're conspicuous.
Of course. And there's no way I can make that easier for myself, is there?
Well, can you suggest a way you make that easy on yourself?
No.
Okay, then.
Trying anyway.
I mean, in theory, there is a way, but... Alright, so it's a success with 1 drawback. Ooh, actually, this is perfect. Alright.
Don't get too excited there.
Remind me of your story conflict.
All of it, or just...
Give me the Cliff Notes.
Arranged
She was
marriage
promised
on-
to someone back in Vlad the Vampire and wants
Vampire?
nothing to
What?
do with the Empire.
Oh,
the
in-
vampire.
Sorry.
I don't try. I don't try to pronounce this stuff. Promised him, wants nothing to do with him, and he's kind of looking for her.
Cool. What is that man's name?
Dmitri Maxim.
Derek.
As you're watching the place, so at this guy's, home office, he mostly doesn't leave. He just works on things, keeps the windows shut, keeps, curtains drawn, that sort of thing. But, he's somewhat busy enough that there are runners, and delivering packages and whatnot, delivering letters, dealing with the business matters of the day, and various well-to-do people kind of coming to his place, being invited in, and then leaving, pleasant moods. And one of those people, one of those people is your former beau, Dmitri.
It is so hard to not sigh heavily. Because of course he's here. Of course they know each other.
Would he have an entourage?
Well, he's basically similar to Alexei, the noble who kept his fortune and made a name for himself in New Dunhaven. So, yes.
Yeah, so they're probably actually pretty close.
Fantastic!
Besties.
Oh, God.
So he spends some time inside, and then there is a period of time where they are simply speaking outside the front door. And then, let's see. So that makes your job a little difficult because you definitely don't want to be seen by him, even accidentally.
And I probably don't want to be seen much by Alexei at all.
Yeah.
This will be fun.
Eventually, let's see. I can't think of anything else. Dmitri eventually leaves, and actually they both leave. Alexei locks up, and you're given a chance to sort of look around the area. Although it's a merchant district, so there's lots of city watch on patrol, and it's hard to find opportunities, but you find them. And it's a 3-story building. First floor is for sort of his lobby and his office. Second floor is sort of storage and records. Third floor is his personal quarters. And merchant districts, the windows are a little bit more. You find as you sort of look for alternate routes and entrances, his personal security seems much tighter than even a merchant district house usually has. Like, the windows are very securely locked. The doors are, latched and bolted. Even the roof access ways have, padlocks on them.
Day just gets better and better. So there is no way in from...
Not without picking a lock. Some rather heavy-duty locks at that.
Can I just try anyway?
Yeah. Yes, you can. That would be in anything else for you with, I'm going to say, challenge die.
Fun stuff. What?
You used a comma instead of a semicolon.
Oh. Gotta love this. Yay!
So, success with a drawback. When I say the drawback is, you managed to break the lock, but you actually just straight up broke the lock. You're not gonna be able to put it back together and make it look like no entrance happened. You're gonna leave behind evidence.
Can I make it that it was one of the ones on the roof?
Yep.
Yay! Less conspicuous that way. So I'm able to go in and try and scope out at least. You said the the third floor was mostly his private quarters, and then the second was like his office?
First is sort of lobby and office. Second is your record storage, private,
Okay.
and utilities, whatnot. And third is private quarters.
Like, I want to try and mostly check out the private, or not his personal quarters, because if you're hiding something very important, it's going to be with your personal stuff. And then if I can, maybe try and go downstairs, but prioritize the top floor.
All right. Just make another roll to case the joint.
Hello.
You do not find anything before. Well, you can push your luck and drop that down to 79, but roll 2 challenge dice. Your choice.
Oh.
So you got a challenge die. All right.
Yeah.
Can
I say I wasn't really able to go downstairs?
I'm thinking here. Let's see, what's in his house? You find in a hidden drawer in the end table next to his bed a sort of necklace that looks valuable and important. And among other things, you also notice sort of faint smell of incense. Notice that all the curtains are drawn. But yeah, the drawback is you only manage to search mostly the third floor before you hear the front door open.
I'm so tempted to do something really stupid right now.
Do
it.
Tempted, because I want to try and just take the necklace with me.
Do it.
I just leave. Digo, our good angel, please.
Honk honk, I'm a clown.
I'm taking it.
I would say do it. Take the chance.
I'm taking it.
Okay. So you exit and take the necklace with you. All right. Noted and noted. So that'll be the end of that scene. And for being conspicuous and leaving behind significant evidence after the crime, I'm going to say another 4 heat gets added onto the pile for a total of 8.
Have fun, guys.
I can't clean that, can I? Because I'm running a legwork scene.
You can give up your legwork scene, but it's also your legwork scene is...
Your legwork scene is important. It's fine.
Damn it.
Unless you want
My
to
leg's already terrible.
Unless you want to try and hand it off to someone else.
No, it's fine.
All right. So Digo seems like the next logical choice.
Mm-hmm.
We're totally gonna have like 30 heat by the end. One day.
Oh man, I totally just want to see that happen.
Don't tempt me.
So Digo, how does your legwork scene play out?
All right, so I guess I'm gonna go through shops, buying things here and there, and just kind of, I guess, maybe get a lay for what the rumors or what people are talking about. See if I can't work in, hey, did you hear about, this guy getting beat up by this other guy? What's up with that?
All right, then I guess you're an alchemist, right?
Alchemist, also part of the family.
Gossip with merchants.
Okay. I get 2 advantage dice when verbally interacting with merchants.
Yes, you do.
You can do it. I can. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, you don't put a second.
Yeah, sorry.
Second pound symbol in there. I'll keep the first D100
Okay.
result.
Sorry.
So 18 with 1 advantage. So you're talking about Alex Spencer and whatnot, and yeah, he's got all sorts of investments in various industries, mostly just keep himself nice and comfortable. Just sort of showed up a few years ago. There's been rumors he's accusations of insider trading and whatnot, but those haven't really stuck. Doesn't really seem that kind of guy. He mostly keeps his head down. With the advantage die, one very talkative merchant you speak with, who's just very friendly and loves to gab, says, he has a lot of like nervous tics that I've noticed when he comes in here. Is like he's always writing in this little journal, and like I've looked over his shoulder. It's like really basic things. It's like I went to lunch and spoke with X, about this and that. It's like I went home and ate dinner. It's like really basic cataloging of what he's doing. And then he's like, every so often I'll see him like put his fingers up to his neck, like he's checking his pulse, and when he enters a room, he'll like play with the lights a little bit. He's got just like a bunch of weird like little behaviors that like you don't really notice until you've been watching him long enough. And it's like really just mundane but weird stuff. Like I don't even know why he's doing it. Like normally you'd think like a paranoid person, they'd be looking over their shoulder or always, speaking in secretive locations. And, like, he does some of that, but, like, I don't know, it's like he's just cataloging himself for some reason.
They say rich people tend to be eccentric because they can afford to be.
Yeah, once you get a certain amount of money, they just turn into weird demagogues or something. It's crazy.
Indeed.
And that's what you get from the merchants. And then, because of Katya's influence, as you're walking out of that shop, you find rather suddenly, some burly men and women from the circle, standing in front of the shop, going, "You wanted to speak with us?"
Yeah.
They don't look too fond of you, since you're from the family, but
looking to get a little info on Alex Spencer.
He wants nothing to do with us.
He did seem to get a little roughed up recently.
That was very strange, but not our business.
Nothing to do with you. Well.
Rather vehemently, if that's the right word. He really did not want to deal with the circle. Rather frightened of us.
Frightened, you say?
Yes.
I wonder why he would have any reason to be frightened.
Well, he sort of, flexes his arms a little bit, rather proudly. There are plenty of reasons to fear the circle.
Yes, indeed. I certainly would not want to be on the business end of you on a bad day.
Indeed. But, we've wanted to use his connections before, but it's strange. He seems like the right kind of people, but he
doesn't want to be the kind of people.
No, he pays off, judges, dirty lawyers, very occasionally, dredger. He just doesn't seem to like us in particular. I'm sure the family has dealt with them. The slimy bastards that you all are, no offense.
None taken.
But no, he's Vlad, but he will have nothing to do with other Vlads or the circle.
Very introverted in that respect.
Not the word I would use.
No. I guess maybe being too nice.
Spooked.
Spooked.
Yes. Something has that man very haunted whenever the subject of the Motherland comes up.
I see.
Is that all you wanted?
Was that all I wanted? Okay, yeah, I guess that was, yeah.
Whispering to everyone who's not there.
Right?
Whispering to the shadows.
What was that about eccentric rich people? Okay, so, yeah, that's actually interesting. Maybe I should look into that.
So what do you like? We're only here because of Katya.
Ah, yes. Nice lady.
She does good work.
Oh, very good.
A little on the not subtle side, but... Anyway.
I have all the respect in the world for her, so...
Alright. I think that scene's out of gas.
Yep.
So, which leaves either Smarty or Xencarn.
Smarty, I think, because he's doing his thing.
Yep.
Alright then, Smarty. How does your legwork scene play out?
She's just having one of her days off, I guess. I'm not entirely sure. And just going around, just having a chat with people, finding out either through Digo's person, whose name I have forgotten,
Alfons.
Alphonse, finding out for Alphonse, or just on her own, finding out someone that the bloke wants to meet up with or whatever, and just every now and then just casually drop it, just casually name drop every now and then that he goes to the tea palace. Just not like in a suspicious way, just in casual conversation.
You have heard of a Dimitri fellow that he seems
Yes,
very
him.
buddy-buddy with.
And to be like, yeah. So just be like, oh, you heard of the tea palace? Yeah, the Dimitri guy goes there sometimes.
So I'm gonna guess gossip with the merchants is what we're doing here.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I have a 65.
I'm gonna say advantage and challenge die, one of each.
The advantage is the 8, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the challenge. There you go.
All right. Success with a drawback. You're spreading rumors about this. Let's see. What would be a good drawback for spreading rumors about a tea shop and it's the people who go there?
Well,
Or what kind of backlash would that have?
It works a bit too well, and like other people.
That's more of a boon.
City Watch shows up on their time off.
Yeah, like that. It works a bit too well, and someone from the City Watch is like,
You're in a merchant district where there's more City Watch than usual, so actually I will accept that. As you're talking with people going, hey, this tea shop's great, and generally being, charismatic about it. A few City Watchmen you overhear them being like, oh, yeah, that sounds like a great place to go off
I might go there.
Yeah. They'll be off duty, but they'll still be, City Watchmen. So,
off-duty policemen instead of policemen.
Yes, I will accept that you have successfully spread rumors among the merchants in the area that this is the place to go for Alexei's friends.
Mm-hmm.
Which just leaves Xencarn's legwork.
yay!
Also, Smarty, you were conspicuous, right?
Hang on.
Mummers. Merchant districts, yep. So 2 more heat, 10 heat.
Yes.
Oh my god, we are going to get to 30.
You're gonna have so much fun.
I hate all of you. I hate all of you so much.
And now Xencarn, or Rebecca Lynn.
Yay!
How does your ideal legwork go?
My ideal legwork? I walk up to his house.
Off to a great start.
So basically, yeah, I'll go to his place of residence. I want to get meeting with him and convince him that I want to put on a dinner for him and associates to show off my wares and form a close business relationship with I don't know if he's really up and coming, but with like an entrepreneur of his status. And I'm also not going to steal all his shit, Avis.
It's important, clearly. Otherwise, Spud wouldn't have mentioned it.
The main challenge to that, I think that the rumors are going to help, but main challenge for that is that you sort of showing up out of the blue, wanting him to come to your shop and patronize it, is, suspicious on its own without factoring in any paranoia. So, convince someone with 2 and 2.
So 2 and 2? So 2d8, 2d10?
Yep.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
Door slammed your face.
Yeah, that's a point. I mean, I convince someone's 80, so that's not awful.
Yeah,
I
can push. Open your mouth.
I can push my luck on that, right?
Yep. You can
cool.
push your luck once.
I will I will do that. Yeah, I will push my luck for 10, I guess.
And roll me another challenge die.
Right. That's the bit. 1d10. Yeah, challenge is 1d10, isn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
See.
All right. So you have a success with a boon.
Woo!
Managed to convince him to attend the dinner at your tea shop tonight. With he's going to invite a bunch of the rest of his circle to attend as well. Just make a big old event of it. Although he's definitely going to demand that you provide your absolute best service.
I will serve you myself, sir. I could do no less.
All right, then. So that'll do that scene. All right, so the day ends. Let's see, were you...
Yeah, I was conspicuous.
All right, another 2 on the stack.
Fun!
And then the night segment begins. So 1 heat for each of you, 16 heat.
How much is that plot twist again? I forget. Was that the 20?
It's 20.
We're almost there already on
Save
day
it.
1.
Save us, give that old sucker punch.
Yeah.
We're so good at this.
All right.
Wow.
So
We make everything fun.
So we're not going to be planning, not going to be legwork. This is just going to be straight up. We're going to role play this out. So that evening, how about Xencarn? How about you describe Brooklyn's tea shop in glorious detail?
You're waiting for this, aren't you?
All right. So the High Tea Palace is a very sort of medium-sized, like, best way of describing it. Have you ever been to one of those like family-owned, like the sort of upper-class family-owned like Chinese restaurants?
Yes.
Not all of those things all at once.
But like you've seen them, right? Like you've walked past them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you walk in, you have these little tables which can be moved around and placed as needed for, like, obviously for bigger parties and the like. You'll have a counter over in the back, which has all your tea making facilities. Everything's very done up, very elegant. A lot of like carved wood. They'll have a service entrance out back for the wait staff if you want food or anything from the kitchen out back. But yeah, it's very sort of mahogany carvings, landscape paintings, that kind of thing.
Very homey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Upper class but quaint.
All right. So everyone, I'm assuming, is there. Everyone's sort of either sort of planted out front or waiting in the back, or actually, how about describe where you are?
Inside.
Inside.
In slightly more detail than that.
Well, I could get a little more detail. I generally want to be able to hear things, but not really be seen, because I shouldn't be.
Well,
'Cause
I'm
otherwise
not gonna
things won't go
tell you
badly.
where you are. It's a restaurant.
Can I hide in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hiding in the kitchen.
Well,
It's
have
better than
lunch.
the roof.
I could put you in one of the I could put you in one of the corner tables with
No,
Alfons.
I probably should not be seen.
That's fine.
Sorry, Alphonse, I really should
That's
probably
right,
not.
Alphonse. I'll have lunch with you.
Yay.
Dinner.
Dinner.
Or whatever. Dinner.
Dinner,
Sure.
tea,
I'll
evening.
have food with you.
Let's go. Food up.
I of course will either be, I'll be multiple places during the evening, I would assume, considering I'm
You're the host.
basically being like wait staff of one.
You're the manager, so.
Yeah. So I'll be, where I need it as the night progresses.
Okay. So, these very rich, well-to-do men start to file in, and you show them to their seats, and they're all like, yes, town, and how quaint. None of them seem particularly impressed. Dimitri is the second to last to arrive, and a good time after that, Alexei is the last, or Alec is the last to arrive. And they all take their seats and start ordering their tea and then their little dishes, and sort of make small talk about the state of the restaurant, not all of it positive, because these are quite snooty people.
Sass in your tea house.
They don't seem they don't seem like
Blank
they
face.
they don't seem like the
Don't
kind of
poison
people
everybody.
who
Just casual service
Yeah.
job smile.
The I'm dead inside smile.
Yeah, it seems for some of them the novelty of going to town and tea house is enough, but I'm sorry, I can't keep acting like a jerk like this, but that's what happens.
My tea is really good. Screw you.
So, what do you try to do to take advantage of the situation or acquire information?
So I'll be
Yeah.
hovering, of course, pouring tea, giving fruit out, that kind of thing, asking people how they're enjoying it, normal wait stuff. Trixie and Alfons, you're in the corner table, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What I might do is when I'm serving them is slit them ideas for conversation topics that they might have a little bit too loudly, and see if we get any like reactions. So bringing up the guy who's in jail's name, for instance, and seeing what happens, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
If that's cool with you two. If not, do it anyway.
Sure, I'll play along.
Sweet. And I'll
Hmm.
check on Katya and make sure she's not, like, dying.
She's sitting in the kitchen.
She's
Probably
been-
just
she-
handing you stuff from the cooks, to be honest.
Yes,
So
hello.
you're not completely dying.
Thank you.
She probably
You're
been
welcome,
conscripted
Mom.
into helping out in the kitchen.
If you're gonna be in the kitchen, you're gonna do work.
Fine.
Oh, and as that meal's getting underway, several off-duty city watchmen come in.
I'm just picturing Katya in just her normal outfit, but she just has an apron on as well.
No, mask is off. Mask is off when she does this stuff.
Oh, I was hoping for, like, a mask and, like, a little chef's hat.
No!
Just put the hat on the mask.
Oh my gosh, professionalism, please.
Oh,
Of
man.
course.
Yes.
I'd probably have other wait stuff, so I'll probably get one of the
Yep. You
one of the
can-
other girls to go serve the less important people.
Yep. And
Which I just realized makes Trixie and Alphonse look important. That's probably useful.
What are you talking about? Of course I'm important.
Well, I am well dressed.
High-ranking members of the cartels. Who knows? You don't know. Those are important people, technically.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Just for different types of people.
Anyway,
Miss-
sorry, Spud.
uh,
You were saying.
so all that fun stuff aside, question is, how chatty do they get? What do they let slip? Because you've got everyone positioned in the right spots. I'm guessing you suggest the incident that Alec went through. You say, "Oh, I heard
Yeah.
about this" or whatever, and just sort of let that slip into the conversation and then walk away.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And they get chatting about that, and Alec's like, "I don't want to talk about that." And they're like, "You're gonna throw the book at him, right?" And I was like, "Oh yes, absolutely." People like that, you get the sense that something bad happened to him, but I can't be held accountable for everything bad that happened in his life. That's just not fair. But he quickly tries to deflect the conversation away, and everyone's just sort of in a decent mood, just sort of out at dinner. No one's really wanting to talk about anything heavy or sensitive. Let's see.
Trixie, cast magic. Make it look
No.
like he's doing it. Blair embarrassing.
No.
Let's see.
No plans for that.
Alphonse, you notice Alec doing a couple of nervous ticks that were described earlier, checking his pulse, sort of looking around furtively, that sort of thing. And eventually, at one point, in a lull in the conversation, Alec's just like, "So, how much you want to bet Red Lotus?" And there are a few nods around the table. Yeah, this place is probably Red Lotus. And someone else says, "Well, that could be useful." It's like, but everyone sort of hushes down, and as a couple of the city watchmen's heads perk up, like, What?" Yeah. Thing is, without any like other stimulus, they're pretty guarded because they're in public. I'm not sure what they would say. Like, whatever they say, you're in position to overhear it, but it's mostly just talking about accounts and investments and a lot of stuff that's not really relevant to your current job.
Okay. Anybody feel free to chip in here, guys. Katya, help.
Oh.
You know Dimitri,
I
right?
know. I do.
Like anything I could slip to him to make him say something dumb and get everyone angry. Angry people tend to say stupid stuff.
So how about your wife?
Oh.
Not taking the blame for that one.
Do it. It's better than what I just sent you. It's way better than what I just sent you.
Organically slip that into the conversation. I got it. Okay, so I'll walk over to Alfons and Trixie, and I'll serve them tea, and be like, okay, so I need you to say something really disparaging about, not disparaging, what's the, brain's going a mile a minute. Okay, so I need you to say something about hearing a rumor about this guy, insider trading. Do we know the names of any of the other guys who've come with him?
Sure, but I don't.
Okay, cool. So just drop one of their names and mention insider trading and see what happens. And do it in that sort of stage casual conversation that everybody can hear.
Okay.
Go.
Miss Anna, I heard about this little thing about, X person, kind of insider trading thing, just a rumor, allegedly.
Yeah, I know. I've heard the same thing.
Yeah.
And others.
How's your tea? Is it warm enough?
Yes.
You hear a few scoffs from the table, and, they start chuckling among themselves. One of them goes, I mean, if they could prove it, who's going to stop us, right? And there's a few laughs around the table.
Wait, did they just say that out loud?
Who's gonna stop us, they said to the off-duty policeman.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Gotta love it.
They said if.
If.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but when you say that, it's clearly true.
Do the guard react at all to that?
They're seated, I mean, you've given them a big old table.
They're at one side of the restaurant, then you're on, and these guys are on the other.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, they're not seated close enough. They feel comfortable enough saying something like that. Like, not. I don't think they realize that there are like off-duty watchmen in the restaurant, but they're also seated, sort of further away from the common tables.
A decent distance.
Right. I'm out of plans, guys.
Thing is, my idea really won't do anything, to be honest.
I mean, we do have 2.5 days. We might not be able to nail them on the first night,
I know, but just like anything to let something else slip up. Mention the jewelry or something, because I did steal that thing.
Yeah, that just implicates that we know that it got stolen.
Or maybe just like.
Us.
Or maybe just in general, like you hear, there's a thief who's going around stealing jewelry in the merchant district.
A circle thief?
Well, I mean, we could. I'm just not really sure how that's.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to do anything.
Oh, how opposed are you guys to the heresy route?
Not at
Anything
all.
works, man.
Okay, cool.
As long as it doesn't end up with me on fire.
Or me in jail.
One of those
Okay.
two things is going to happen, and you don't get to choose.
So as I pass, one of my serving girls, I'm going to mention in that sort of stage whisper that everyone's currently doing, that I've heard there's a prominent person in the merchant district that the church is looking at for heresy, and apparently it's someone who attends the church quite regularly.
Ooh.
And one of the former Vladich Empire people? Just
Well,
to make
I
it
don't want to deliberately say it's this guy, so I'm going to leave it as
Well,
vague
there's
as I can.
several people in this tea house who fit that description.
I think
Actually,
that's
Actually, yeah, that's a fair point. Okay, yeah, I'll bring that up as well.
I mean, Trix isn't wearing
keep it
her
vague, keep it vague.
usual.
I'm gonna
But
say,
yeah, I'll keep it vague. I won't say anybody's name,
I'm gonna
obviously.
say, lie to someone with 2 advantage dice.
Nice. Actually, I haven't spent any influence, so if it's alright, I'm going to spend an influence and succeed on a task automatically without rolling dice.
You sure you want to do that now?
Yes.
No,
Are you sure you want to do that now?
That's not really something you spend on a single check. It's more like a whole legwork scene you just take care of.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I was
Like,
thinking way too small on that one.
A task is like a leg of the job. You know?
Ah, right. So, 2d8
Yeah.
Yes.
or 1d8?
2d8. Yeah. And you also have to justify how your cartel influence helps complete the task. So
Fair enough. No, okay, cool. My bad.
yeah, it's bigger than a check, smaller than
Fuck!
the job. Push your luck 3 times.
Yeah, okay. That puts me down to 60 luck and adds, 3 challenge dice?
Yep.
It's okay, you got 2 boons.
Why do you do this to me?
Hey! You keep the boons!
Whew.
All right,
Doing
everything's
a-
coming up, Rebecca.
Damn right.
So
Everything's coming up, Becky.
you had to repeat. You had to kind of repeat yourself so that they heard it. But when the table overhears it, several eyes turn to Alec and Dimitri, and
Ooh.
Alec is immediately like, "It is absolutely,
It's not
absolutely
me."
heinous." Everyone here knows that I worship the Silver Judge, and would be the last person in the entire city to engage in heresy. It's like that's a pretty specific denial there, Alex. Like, I'm dead
That's something.
serious. Okay? I even have an artifact to protect me from all sorts of magic.
Damn it.
Yes.
Well, he did before Katya stole it.
It's a magic
Alright.
detector.
And someone at the table was like, "What sort of artifact?" That kind of sounds like heresy in and of itself. Like, no. It's cataloged, it's sanctioned. It is a holy artifact that wards off enchantment. So I'm more concerned with protecting myself from heresy than engaging in it myself. And everyone sort of nods and says, "Yeah, sorcery is guess it's real, but it's so mysterious, and dangerous," says someone else. You can't really use it without losing some part of yourself, I've heard. And you see Alec nod a little bit too quickly and says, "Yes, you."
Trix is just off to the side, grinning to herself as they're talking about magic.
Shut up.
Alec
I'm
just
waiting
goes.
for you to just stand up, okay?
Oh boy.
Alec just goes. I've also heard that it can be very powerful and dangerous. Says, that sounds like more than just you've heard of it. Actually says, just let's say I had a bad experience, okay? That's all. And everyone goes, all right. Well, do you have that artifact with you now, since you're so overprotective? And he's like, no, frankly, I figured I'd count on you a lot to protect me tonight. And they're like, and there's a bunch of laughs all around, as if they're not all backstabbers. Then I'm going to spend 4 heat and go. One of the Dimitri actually goes, well, I'm hope it's still there, because I've heard there was reports of a string of burglaries in that area, right in your district. And Alec goes, wait, really? And his eyes go a little wider. He says, do you know if, you have people in the watch, right? Do you know if my and Dimitri goes, oh yeah, absolutely. I think they came in through the roof. And Alec immediately gets up from the table and rushes out.
So you're Bill?
Just peeks head out. That was.
And everyone at the table goes, of course, ditched before he could pay.
You just all looked at the others like, all right, who's going to pay?
Someone better.
Just stares at them with that Tony stare.
Mom. The disappointed mum, like as you stand there with your hands on your hips.
Hey, Trix, I heard this rumor about this noble who doesn't pay his check.
I know, right?
And expects his friends to pay for him?
Eventually the bill does get paid. Actually, they just tell you to put it on, to mail the bill to Alex Spencer.
Bill him 5 times more.
Just put a couple of zeros on the end. I'll never know.
I probably will. He can get taxed for leaving. But
He has to pay for all of his friends too.
A few of them pay for themselves, because I don't know, they're not sure what else to do. But a few of them are just like, yeah, just send my bill to Alec. He said he would pay for it.
It's just a couple of generally the 2 groups of friends, the ones that will pay for themselves and the one that are like, no, you invited me, you're paying.
Right?
Well,
if the Dimitri gets up and says, could I go thank the chefs personally?
Of course, dear sir. I don't see a problem with that.
Thank you. And he starts walking towards the kitchens.
I'd like to point out in character, you haven't told me shit.
I know I haven't.
You haven't told us. You don't even know he's coming, so you're just working.
I know, so I'm just waiting for. At this point, I'm just waiting for to just descend into hell.
Man, this is some good tea.
Because I don't know that this is coming.
This is some bomb-ass tea.
Damn right.
Just lounging on the booth chairs.
I just assumed that Trixanna is sitting like L.
No, it's like, because you know how it's like a booth, it's just like one long chair. She's just laying on it with her legs up.
Not my damn restaurant, you're not. You sit up like a proper young lady, or I'll smack you around until you do.
She's just like laying there.
Anyway!
Just flap her legs.
Anyway, so the kitchens.
Dimitri comes in, just looks around. He seems to be using his excuse more to inspect the working conditions, and the conditions under which the food and tea got prepared. Sort of
improv health inspection.
Yeah, basically.
It's good. I keep myself up to standard. Thank you very much.
Doesn't seem terribly impressed. He's looking over all the staff. He kind of lingers on the back of Katya's head, but then turns away and says, "Well, thank you all," and leaves. And Katya, you recognize that voice.
Just like freezes in place.
You're just like, shit.
Almost drops a teacup.
Teacups.
And Yeah, I think that's how that ends. The group leaves the shop. And that night, there is a missing item report for there's a reported robbery for for Alex's house and that particular item.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway. So yeah, mainly you notice that he seems very sensitive around the subject of heresy, and you now know that that necklace is apparently a magical artifact of some kind.
Woohoo!
It protects him against magic.
So
And
I should
everyone
hang
got-
around with Trixanna more often so that I don't have to worry about magic.
We're about to get heretical up in this shit.
So, yeah, I think here we will take a small break and then come back with part 2 of the Motherland job.